Hello violinists, welcome to Pro Strings. I'm Henriette and this is lesson 49 in the violin class for beginners Crickboom course. Haven't you come a long way? And today we are learning a piece which appears only in the green edition of this book. So if you are playing from a red book, follow the link down below this video and I've put a copy on my website from where you can either play it or copy it. So in this piece we're dealing with two different things. First of all, we're playing in 3/4 time and we're going to slur 3 quavers or 3/8 notes, and I'll explain to you how you count that. And then we're also going to explore how you play those 3 quavers when they are separate bows. And this piece is written in the key of G major. So you know that your finger pattern is wide, close. If you want to learn more about the G major scale, I'll put the link to my G major scale and arpeggio in the description below as well. So you might follow that video before you start this one. Let me play it for you first. Lovely sweet little piece, this one. So when we have 3/4 time, you will have noticed we're counting 1, 2, 3, but since we're playing 3 quavers, 3/8 notes at the end, I'm going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and that means the dotted crotchet at the start, the dotted quarter note at the start, I'm going in my head to subdivide the counting. I'll show you this. So in my head, I'm counting this as 1 and 2 and 3 and. Whenever we split crotchets into quavers, we'll count the number of the beat, so 1, 2 or 3, and then we add the word and for the speed of the quavers. So 1, 2, 3 if you have those as crotchet notes or quarter notes, and we split them into quavers, we'll count 1 and 2 and 3 and counting your music in this way has two advantages. First of all, we can still hear which beat of the bar we're playing in, 1 and 2 and 3 and, but we can also already hear how fast our music is going to sound because we're adding the speed of the quavers, and that is what we're going to be using here. As you may know, a dotted crotchet, a dot after a note, means add half as much again. We know that the crotchet equals 2 quavers. In American terms, the quarter note equals 2/8 notes. If we add half as much again, we add another 1/8 note, another quaver. So if I subdivide this dotted crotchet into 3 quavers or 3/8 notes, I'm counting 1 and 2. And the second half of the second beat is the and, 2 and that is this one. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and so on. Now here you will have noticed I have changed this rest that was originally there in this print. This was an old-fashioned way of writing a crotchet or a quarter note rest, and I've just changed it for a more modern version of a rest. So this bar we just count 1, 2, 3. So let's just practice counting this one more time before we then play it together. So I'm counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, and the 3 here is the rest. Shall we play it? Now when we play this, we need to start to thinking about how on the bow we're going to play it. And we're going to play the 1 and 2 on one long bow. And then the next slur is another long bow, and 3 and is also a long bow. So we're getting it like this. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2. You see, so I'm playing 2 whole bows per bar. Here we go. I'll count us in for 3. 1, 2, 3. Carry on, and 2, 3, 1 and 2. Rest, and now let's stop here. You may have noticed that the slurs have now disappeared, and we're going to play separate bows on the 3 quavers. However, we need to still get through to the other end of the bow for the next long note, the next dotted crotchet at the start of the following bar. We need to be at the heel of the bow, you see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zigzag my bowing, and I'm going to play a longer bow just below the middle, then a tiny bit back, and a longer bow so that it brings me to the heel. And I'll show you how this works. So this is the section in the 3rd line, the 3rd bar, a long bow first, and now I follow on. Rather than 3 even notes, I'm going to nudge the bow towards the heel, so a bit longer on my first quaver, a bit shorter here, and a longer one again. You see, so I'm cheating a little bit. I'm going to the other end of the bow because that's where I need to play the long E. Whole bow on this one. And I'll do the same thing again with these 3 quavers or 8 notes. You see, so this bowing comes 3 times. And I'll show you how I indicated that in my music. So I've got a little zigzag line there to remind me just when I get there that I need to push the bow towards the heel a little bit more. Because across these 3 notes, I will need to move the bow towards the heel, you see. Let's play that, shall we? So we're starting right here where the separate bows begin, the 3rd bar of the 3rd line. 1, 2, 3. Whole bow. Shall we just play this last section again? 2, 3. Awesome. So in the past couple of lessons, I've heard from several of you who have been working on making the bows longer, and well done for keeping on going with that. You will benefit from learning that technique previously in this lesson when we're just going to play around with that bowing a little bit more, you see, so super work. Now there's one other thing that I would like you to think about in this lesson today, and that is that we want to be very aware of which string we're playing on. So let's have a look at the start of this piece again, and you will perhaps notice that the first 2 bars are played on the D string, and then the 3rd bar of the piece, the first note is on the D string, and then I'm going to the A string. So let's think for a moment what's happening with my right elbow. My right elbow is going to be this high when I play on the D string, but then when I go to the A string, my elbow is going to go down. So let's play from the beginning now, and let's stop in the middle of bar 3 so that we consciously move from one string to another. 1, 2, 3. And now I want you to stop and move the bow to the A string. So my elbow is going to go down. Can you see that? So in our next playing, I want you to go down while we play the first note in bar 3. Go down. See, my elbow started here. Take a look at my right elbow. And I'm dropping it. So when I look here, my bow is coming closer to the A string. So I'm dropping my elbow. Take a look at your strings now. So I'm preparing my string crossing during the last note on the D string, which is the first note of the 3rd bar, you see. So my elbow is getting ready in position so that I make the smoothest of transitions, the smoothest of string crossings right on the C, you see. If I forget to do that, I'm going. Can you hear that there is an accent on the C this time? I don't want an accent there because the main accent is on the first beat of the bar, you see. So the accent should be on the G. See, so not on the C, and I can avoid that accent by preparing my string crossing by dropping my elbow down. Let's practice that again from the beginning, shall we? 1, 2, 3, and... You see how that is really nice and smooth now. Well done for thinking about these really subtle changes. That's really going to make your violin playing very, very good. Now when we continue, the last bar of the first line is going to be on the A string, so we don't need to worry, we keep our string level the same. The first bar of the second line is also on the A string, so again I don't need to worry. It's just in the transition between the first and second bar of the second line where I need to, during the open A string, nudge my elbow up again because I'm going to continue on the D string, you see. So let's start now after the rest in the first line. So the last bar of the first line. 2, 3. Watch out here because your elbow needs to come up now. Let's practice that again, shall we? So during the open A, lift up gently with your elbow. Of course, if you already start to hit the D string, your lever has gone too far to the D string. So be very gentle. It's only a slight change there. So at the end of line 1, here we go, 2 and 3 and... Carry on now. Think about your string crossings. These last last 4 bars are really interesting here, aren't they? Because you start on the D string, then after 1 bar, at the end of the first bar, I should really say, nudge your elbow lower a little bit so that you get to the level of the A string. And then on the last note of the second line, nudge your elbow down a little bit more so that you carry on almost inaudibly on the E string. So we don't want to hear when you cross from one string to another, you see. Let's now go from that open D string again, right in the middle of the second line. So the 4th bar of the second line, 1, 2, and 3, and carry on. Yeah, you're getting there now, aren't you? Brilliant. Let's think about those last 4 bars now. The 4th bar from the end and the 3rd bar from the end are all on the E string, aren't they? So here you don't need to worry about your elbow at all. You see? There is absolutely fine. The next bar is also fine, so you can fully focus on that zigzag bowing. But here, your elbow needs to come up a little bit so that you go to the A string next. And here, go to the level of your D string again. Awesome. Now these are subtle changes, so I can imagine if you think, wow, that is much less change than I had anticipated. And quite a lot of the time you might at this stage overshoot it a little bit and start to hit the wrong string too soon. So that just shows you how little you have to do. But it's quite important that you start to think about this, considering what is to come in future, you see. So well done for sticking with me right through to the end of this video. I very much look forward to seeing you in lesson 50. Gosh, 50 lessons. It's just incredible if you've been following me all the time. So I very much look forward to seeing you then. Goodbye.